Okay, so this is how you're going to create a seamless texture in Photoshop. This is very useful. You're going to find you use this a lot, I'm sure. So to start with, you're going to go to Window, find your extensions, and don't ignore this and this. Don't pay any attention to those. Go to Seamless Textures Generator 2. Okay, now you'll see that open up. Lovely, that's what you want. I have my numbers up top here in the way. I'm sure you can see them, but behind those numbers it says File, and that's what I'm clicking on. So I'm going to go to File, New. You could do it as a 256 or a 512. I would play with that and see what you think you need. Don't worry about the top portions, but under Width you're going to put in 512 pixels if you're working on 512, and then it might be beneficial to do smaller. If you're looking for a smaller pattern, you might want to go with the 256, but it's either going to be one or the other. So I'm going to do, just for demo purposes, the 512. In this menu, it'll have a drop down, so yours could be defaulted on inches. Just make sure you're on pixels. So 512 by 512 pixels. Resolution, this is a minimum resolution, pixels per inch. It's kind of like the idea of if you want to think about a high definition, like an HD picture, versus a not HD picture. So resolution is typically defaulted on 72. You could go with 150 to make it a little bit more of a crisp, or you can actually take it all the way up to like a 300, which is fine because a 512 pixel image or a 256 pixel image is actually pretty small, and so it's probably okay to go all the way up to a 300 resolution. You're looking at the most clear possible, crisp possible pattern resolution you can get. The rest I'll leave, however. You can hit OK. Now here's my little canvas, right? So this is what we're going to turn into a seamless pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to File now, and I'm going to go to Open, and I have all these really cute Lisa Frank pictures, which I'm going to use one of these for demo purposes. So we'll use the angel kitten. So here's our little angel kitten. Now you'll notice up top we're on the picture of angelkitten.png. On the left, if we click on that, is where we're actually going to work. So in order to bring Angel Kitten over, we're going to make sure that we are in our pointer with the arrow. If you're in one of these other things like Paintbrush or something like that, you cannot grab the image. You have to be in the pointed one. And then you're just going to really actually make sure you're on the right layer, which since we only have one layer here, then this is going to be the only layer I can touch. But if I had multiple layers and I wanted to drag over an image, I would have to make sure I'm on that layer where the image lives. So just to show you an example, if I had 5 layers and I'm on layer 2 over here, I'm not grabbing anything. But if I make sure I'm on the layer that the kitten is in, which you can find out by closing the eye, making it invisible. Oh, yep, that's the one. Alright. So that's going to be important for you going forward. But for this tutorial, it's really not. Just throwing that in there as a bonus. But go ahead and grab the kitty cat, and you're just going to go over and drag it into this little window over here. When it highlights, you're in the right place, and then you can just plop it on there. So, I mean, you can try to center it as best as you can. But yeah, do that. And then it's as simple as hitting Tile, and it's going to create all sorts of really nifty little layers over there. And as you'll see, it's set it up now to where there's corners of kitty cats. Okay? And now you can actually just either hit Define Pattern, and it'll say the pattern was created. Now why is that great? I'll tell you why. Because now I'll go into, just for the sake of, learning, I'm going to hit New, We'll go to a 1024 pixel by 1024 pixel. Create a new document. Okay? Always when you create a new document, you always have this background layer. You can't work in a locked background layer, and all background layers are always locked. So you're always going to either duplicate the layer, or you can actually just click down here on this button, which brings up a new layer. Alright, either one is really just fine, but I just duplicated the background for the reason that I knew I already was working with a white background, and you're going to need a white background in order to apply a pattern. So now I'm on background copy. This one, you can actually drag it to the trash. You don't need it. Not for this particular item. And so in the background copy, if you go down to effects, you'll see pattern overlay. Okay? So you click on that. It automatically will default apply a pattern. You're going to actually open this up and then scroll to the very bottom, and you should there find your seamless pattern. And what you'll be able to do at that point is scale your pattern. So if you want more of them, you would scale it down. You want less, you scale it up. You're going to find that incredibly useful and important when you're making clothing in Second Life, for Second Life clothing. So that's how you scale your pattern, okay? Another thing that you'll find in this window that is super important and you're going to want to play with is blend mode. Your blend mode is on normal right now. But what you're going to want to do is play with options, and I find the ones that are most, that I use the most, are going to be soft light, which is not a good one for this particular image, or hard light, or multiply, and color burn. You're going to figure out what those do, but you're going to have to play with those. We'll learn more about making clothes in a different tutorial, but in this one, you now know that if it's on normal, it's just going to put it on a typical pattern on normal, and you can scale it. Okay, so now I'm going to try to make another pattern. This time I'm going to attempt to make my pattern a little closer together.